Welcome to the Battlefield Theologian podcast. This is the beginning of a new series. The Church Militant, History in 10 Minutes. In each episode, we will journey through the story of the Church, from the first century to the present day. You will meet bold believers, courageous leaders, defining counsels, and powerful moments that shape the faith. These episodes are short, focused and filled with historical and theological depth. Whether you are a pastor, a student, or simply hungry to understand your spiritual heritage, this series is for you.
Hey, hope you're excited for this first lesson in our church history series. Today we're going to be looking at the last apostle, talking about the Apostle John and what happens after the last apostle dies. A lot of us are unfamiliar with church history, and so this is going to help explain what happens after the apostles. If you're anything like me, my knowledge as I was growing up as a kid was we had the apostles, a giant blank chasm, and then all of a sudden a German monk named Luther came on, and then next thing you know, Billy Graham, and then here we are. So we're going to be unpacking different individuals, different aspects of church history over the last 2,000 years, and today we're going to start with the last apostle. The last apostle to pass away was the Apostle John. And the Apostle John, as I am trying to figure out my screen here, the Apostle John penned 1st, 2nd, 3rd John in the book of Revelation. Now, he was excommunicated and sent into exile on the island of Patmos by the evil Emperor Domitian. Now, while he was there with Domitian's order to be exiled, that is where he wrote the book of Revelation. And then after his time there on the island of Patmos, he went to Ephesus, where he spent the remainder of his days, passing away roughly around 98 to 100 AD. Now, where you are wondering, if you're wondering where the island of Patmos is, it's right here in the Mediterranean Sea, right off the coast of Ephesus in Miletus. When you read the book of Acts, and you see in Acts chapter 20 where Paul calls the elders of Ephesus to Miletus and he gives them his last charge. It's just right off the coast there, so Paul would have passed by. Now, here's something interesting to think about with the last apostle, is that at this point in time, after the apostle Paul is passed away, or he is martyred, Peter's martyred, the rest of the apostles, John was the youngest of the 12. He passes away roughly around 100 AD, and ultimately the Bible, or what we call it, the canon, closes. So at this point in time, everything that will ever be contained in the sufficiency of Scripture and in the inspiration of the Scriptures, it's done. So at this point in time, too, if you look at 1 Peter 3:16, the New Testament was already in circulation at this time. It had been finally correlated all together. That won't happen for a few more, little more down the church history timeline, which we'll cover in a future episode. But at this point in time, the canon is closed with the passing of the apostle and the distinctions that was necessary to be made with the apostle John. Now, here's the question, though. What happens after the apostle John passes away? Is there a gigantic vacuum? Who picks up the reins? Well, as we will be looking in the weeks ahead, there's not a giant vacuum. These men, the apostles, trained other faithful men. These other faithful men trained other faithful men. We see a discipleship multiplication process. But the apostle John died roughly 95 to 100 AD. He was the only one that was not martyred, but he was in exile to Patmos. With his passing, we will now enter into the patristic period, which you need to tune in next episode to understand a few of the patristics and what does that mean for us going forward. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe if you like this. Share, leave a comment, review, whatever you want to do. But I hope this helps you in some short form of way.